Yeah. So I'm Zara Ditchkunian. I'm a sophomore, rising junior next year, and I'm currently a CAS rep for USG, and I'm also the secretary of DNI right now, and I'm running for VP of DNI for next year.
Hi, my name is Neosha Sima. I'm a junior studying chemical engineering, and my current position within USG is being Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion, and I'm running to have the same position again for next year.
Well, I'm running for the VP of DNI because I think it positions me in a very optimal area within the school leadership to kind of bring forward the qualities that CWRU can offer to the community and also make sure that we can interact the best we can with the surrounding community in addition to improving the general student life standards here. And I think by promoting equitable opportunities for all of our students is a critical part of what we're trying to accomplish here at CASE, and I think with me at the helm we can really make some strides in improving that.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed being VP of DNI this year. I think that the previous year being in the committee and being able to run my own initiatives of integrating a prayer room within Twing and working on just finding the, I guess, problems that students face on campus, especially within this pivotal time. I felt like last year it was a perfect time for me to step up and take a greater initiative, and I had so many ideas specifically for protesting and students having a voice, and that expanded into international students, and being able to take that step and create all of these initiatives that I wouldn't necessarily maybe have the time to be extensively working on myself, but I can give to other committee members who are passionate about the same thing but don't necessarily know how to take that, or don't were new to USG and didn't necessarily know how to go about going through an initiative and helping one create that initiative, but being someone who does it from the back end through guidance and support and helping students find that leadership and initiative within themselves was something I really enjoyed and was killing two birds with one stone. So I really enjoyed that process within this entire year of, when I first became VP, I think 95% of my committee were members who were new to USG as a whole. So they were just helping someone build that skill within themselves and helping someone find the ability to have that eye for solving problems and how to get it done, and getting out of their shell in a way to stand up and portray that to admin was something that I really enjoyed witnessing, while also working on amazing initiatives. One I was really proud of this year was I had two reps that didn't necessarily know what they wanted to work on, and I proposed an idea for free summer housing for international students, and that was a really big initiative that we worked on this year, and helping them build it from the ground up, and now being able to independently work on it and carry it out, and knowing all the different facets that they now think in the way of how to follow through with this initiative, and being able to successfully have some kind of implementation for it this year and the following year is something I'm proud of. Yeah.
Yeah, so first of all, USG, or DNI specifically, has reached out to the administration in one of our initiatives already, and we've had some pretty good dialogue with the administration, and they've actually been very willing to work with us, and we've also had a petition that has been sent around by a couple of our members for students to voice their opinions on the general ICE situation, and I believe it got over 500 signatures, and so we're currently in dialogue with the administration and DNI, various members are, and so something we hope to do is make sure that we stay in line with their specific policies and their willingness to comply with ICE while still giving the students a voice in showing how we can oppose certain things that we feel are not justified in our community and things that don't line up with our community standards.
Yes, that is something that we have very, very, very much been trying to like focus on this year, helping international students from like a very vast, I guess, perspective, both from like a financial point of view of, as I mentioned earlier, like the free summer housing initiative. That was something I was super passionate about, and I had heard so many stories of students struggling the previous summer and just like administration knowing about it and not doing anything about it and just like telling them to take out loans, which I thought was like genuinely insane. How are you like an administrator in a university and refusing to help someone who is like all the way outside of their country and is in like such a vulnerable position right now? So that's something that we definitely wanted to work on, and talking with international students and hearing what specifically they were struggling with a lot and how to expand the safety within our campus. So it was definitely a very big conversation with like the international students within CASE, and I would say financially was like their biggest, I guess, burden, as well as just like the fear of what would happen if they were to ever leave the country. So making it as easy as possible for them to stay within breaks, within different like longer breaks during the summer especially, and then like also career-wise, like how am I able to stay here? So we were able to create, working on an initiative to create an international student network within like the CASE Alumni Association, and be able to connect international students with other international students who have graduated and now work in the U.S., and be able to gain mentorship from them, as well as just network with them and reach into like companies and careers that they're passionate about. And I think that's something that's like very important within their career path, and people have found very helpful. And then I would say, just from the standpoint of like feeling safe on campus, that is like a super, super important thing that we were trying to implement. And I think this came through like multiple standpoints of things we were really, really passionate about this year. One, we were working on like divestment and amnesty for the students who were expelled because of protesting last year, and as well as just creating a new, like, making tweaks and creating a new freedom of expression committee where students have a voice in what constitutes as a freedom of expression violation, instead of administration being able to create that narrative. So really, really making sure students have a voice in that, and that they don't just get punished for expressing their free speech. And then from like an ICE standpoint as well, when everything was going on, we tried to take as much of an initiative as we can. Sorry, I'm like rambling right now. There's just like a lot of different initiatives, and it's like it's difficult to sum up into one like speech. But I would say from like an ICE standpoint, we tried to get a student survey, and we got like 800 responses of students saying like, we do not want ICE on this campus, and then working with administrators saying like, this is what students are like scared of. This is a fear that we have, and so we want to make CASE a sanctuary campus, and being able to work with administrators on that, which is like still in process, but that is something we were working on, yeah.
Yeah. So what I do right now, actually, in DNI, one of my initiatives is to kind of give equitable opportunity to the undergraduates that are trying to apply to these graduate programs by getting a seminar series set up with the law school and the medical school. So the law school has already agreed to these things, and so something that I hope to do is extend this across more graduate programs for nursing, for PhD, pre-PhD students, for pre-dental students, and kind of pull out graduate students that have already embarked on these journeys and kind of get them to speak about their experiences to advise the current undergraduates. So that's something that I would hope to continue as VP DNI. And additionally, I'm a part of the Neighborhood Advisory Council. So basically, I'm involved in the local community relations outside of CASE. So something that I would also hope to do is kind of find a way to synthesize and bridge USG and the Neighborhood Advisory Council to like kind of get kids to improve the surrounding communities and also be like enriched by like the people and the various different backgrounds people come from, because CASE is positioned pretty uniquely in that we can kind of take our talents and expand them to the communities around us through programs like the Gelfand Fellows and NAC, of course. So I think that would be also valuable to kind of synthesize those two.
Yeah, I would say if I had to, like narrow it down into like 3 separate issues, it would be like how we can best support international students, how we can best protect freedom of speech on this campus, and how we could, how we could best make CASE a bubble that protects students from all the political issues that are going on around the world. And for that, like, I would take into account just everything going on with ICE and making sure that students at CASE feel protected and backed in support by the university.
Yeah, so I think first and foremost, I would want to be sure that all spaces are kind of safe for people to voice their opinions and feel like they're not really being judged at all. And so I think my first priority would be to make very clear to all members that would be in DNI that, you know, this is a safe space, this is a no judgment zone, this is an area where we can just voice our opinions and just talk through issues that we see in our community and find viable solutions and present them to the administration. I think that's the general process that I would hope to sell to everyone. I think it's very, very important that everyone buys into it. So I think delivering it in a way that, you know, ensures that everyone feels safe but also feels empowered to talk to the administration on their own is a really important part of this. So I think as a whole, just the first priority is making sure everyone feels comfortable and safe voicing their opinions, and then the second is kind of, you know, through I've 2 years of USG already, kind of get how things work and just kind of guiding them to the right administrators and making sure they can meet with those that can like make their ideas a reality.
I would definitely say I think the experience for this is key, because I think that the nicest way possible, administration can be really, really good at making you like seem like your initiative is sometimes invalid, because no, what do you mean? Like, CASE already does things to support this, but those systems aren't actually supporting students, and sometimes they can just seem like they're there to make it look good. So I think actually being able to express what students need and portray this through stats that they can't deny, as well as just like standing your ground so firmly and being like honestly a pain in the ass until they like have to listen to you, has been something that I like have definitely experienced within the past 2 years that I've been in USG. I'm so sorry, let me turn off my ringer. Within the past 2 years that I've been in USG, and is something that I think you definitely need to like, one, be passionate about who you're working on like protecting and the students that you're representing and the initiative that you're working on, and just like making sure the admin knows that you're not someone who's just gonna like stand down by it being such a long process, because it gets dragged out so many times.
Yeah, I think something that would also be really important, it kind of ties into the concept of DNI, but I was just hoping to get like more equitable, course load across students and like scheduling, because it's been made clear to me from professors and students that Currently, spring break is in a position where exams land the week before and the week after for a normal 3 exam, 1 final class, which is kind of the standard here. And so, to kind of resolve that and make spring break more authentic and more of a break, in addition to kind of validating midterm grades more and making them more concrete of a warning sign to students, I think that would be very important and more of an kind of something I've already kind of hoped to collaborate with academic affairs and the rest of the executive members of USG to kind of resolve that, because the inequities among students have kind of been made clear to me. And so I think that by moving spring break back to a point where everyone has their exams at the same kind of time in the semester would make things more equitable for students and their grades, and things more, less stressful for them.
Yeah, I think that something that, like, a really big change when I stepped into my position was I just think a lot of people in the committee were in the committee and like provided support, but they didn't necessarily have like active initiatives they were working on. And something this year that I like really tried to do from the first meeting that we had was make sure that everyone had an initiative that they were passionate about, and if they weren't, then I would like propose a list of initiatives that I had thought of that I like wanted help on, and have students like take leadership within those initiatives or join someone else's, and like that is how we're able to have a committee of 11 people working on I think like 13 different initiatives. And I think that that as a whole is something I really want to see within the rest of USG, and I guess just seeing outside of the narrative of like what admin would say sometimes and what students need, because I think a lot of times when, for example, like we were proposing the amnesty resolution to USG, it could a lot of the conversation became about how like the admin would never support this and how this would never be passed, and there's like your efforts could be better spent in some other way sometimes. And I think I would appreciate if like we can think of like the greater student body and just like how we can stand strong and make greater action than just doing things that we think admin would listen to or could get like passed faster. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm a stronger candidate for this role because honestly, I think I'm able to commit the time and effort to not only bring initiatives to reality and coordinate with the administrators, but also to ensure that we can improve upon like the shortcomings from the past. And some of the things that I would hope to change would be to start meetings earlier, because I think in prior years we started in October and it hasn't given a lot of time in the first semester to actually get kids and members to really start their ideas and make them continuous through the spring semester where we can really deliver on them. So I think my kind of, pushing of the members to start meeting early and, kind of procrastinate these issues, as much as it might not come as naturally for people and it might not be comfortable for people, I think in the interest of the committee, starting earlier, not in, end of October, would be a critical change that I would want to make, and that prior candidates and heads have not made. So I think that would be the biggest thing that I would bring that others have not brought in the past. Yeah.
I think that I would say I have, like, I'm just very passionate about this role. Being bluntly, I think, like, in the past year, I have really enjoyed having the opportunity to not just like take leadership and do all the initiatives that I'm passionate about doing, but like did not have the bandwidth of doing, and also just like helping students grow outside of their comfort zone and become like leaders themselves has been something I really enjoyed. And I think being a VP allows you to not only like make such a great impact on the campus and greater initiatives, but also on the individual people within your committee, and being a mentor in some way and guiding them, and then like knowing when to let go has been like an amazing experience for me. But I think also just experience that I have, I think is something that is really, really crucial. And there are very few people, I think, when it comes to like D&I conversations, I know how extremely difficult and annoying it is to have these conversations with administrators, and having like built up the tolerance for it, as well as just like knowing how to work with it and I guess against it, to still make our initiatives come true, has been something that I have like definitely learned beyond what I could have ever imagined as being a rep, previously within the committee. So I would say like a combination of all of these things and just like the experience and knowing like what I want to do. I think I have a really clear idea of the initiatives that I want to like continue to face and bring into next year, and new initiatives that I want to come up. And I really, for example, like I mentioned, the sanctuary campus one, that's something I really want to focus on, was like a newer initiative, and something I really want to take into next year and work with administrators more, like hands-on on that one, and just like continue to have difficult conversations. And I just think you need to like really be a specific kind of person to stay strong, I guess, within those conversations.